Hi everyone, thanks for joining me. Today I got a nice short and sweet one for you, for all those days where you don't have a lot of time and you want to get some yin in. For this one you're going to need a blanket or a towel, and we'll get started right with it. So you're going to roll it up facing the long edge, so make it into a pretty decent sized rectangle. You want it to go up and down the length of your spine, so at least long enough to cover your torso. You'll roll it nice and tight along the long edge, so you got a nice tight little bolster to support you. Then you'll bring it to run the length of your mat or the space you're laying on, and you'll sit on the very tail end of it just to kind of keep it down, and then you'll lay your body down on top of it. Make sure that it's feeling like it's running right up and down your spine. Head might even still lay on it. Then your arms can rest however they want, your feet can rest however they feel good. Take a second to adjust and wiggle if you need to. Eventually you'll feel this kind of sweet spot and you'll close your eyes. No need to look at the screen at all. And you'll take just a really big breath in, and you might feel the expansion of the chest and the belly a little bit more strongly with this blanket in your back. You'll feel an exhale help you to melt down a little bit more. You'll keep spending some time observing the breath as it moves in, nice and full, helping to open the whole front side of the chest, the rib cage, the belly. And observing every exhale as it helps you to soften and let go of any immediate tension that you're feeling in your body. This one's a great one to help facilitate an opening again to this front side of the body. And it's doing so by lovingly pressing your spine forward inside of you, which is really remarkable because that's going to then press all of your vital organs forward in your body. As the immediate tension starts to lessen in the front wall of the chest and the ribs and the belly, it's going to create space. And now that all the vital organs, especially the heart, are being pressed forward, they've got space to expand, to spread wide, to beat stronger, to fill the body more. So now you have some time to enjoy all this sweet space you're making. Totally normal and acceptable for the mind to be thinking. We've learned together that thoughts aren't the enemy. What is our reaction to them. Can we hold space for them and allow them to be here? That's why the breath is so powerful. It's the anchor for the present moment. So keep observing it in and out, in and out. As many of you know, I have a daughter. She's 5 and her name is Addison. And every day starts and ends the exact same way with Addison. It starts every morning with an epic power struggle over a hairbrush. And every night ends the exact same way with another really awesome power struggle, this time over going to bed. And the other day, after a particularly rough one, I said to her, Addison, I do not understand this. Every single day, you cry over the same thing. And you know that you have to brush your hair. Every morning, it's what we do. And then I also don't understand that every single night you cry. You know you have to go to bed. Why are you arguing over things that you can't change? I said to her, Addison, these are non-negotiables. And she says to me, Mama, what's a non-negotiable? I paused. And I said to her, it's something that is not up for discussion, not up for debate. It just is. Another deep breath in and out. Feeling the body soften even more here over your blanket. All the space in the front side of you that's radiating with whatever felt sense that you notice in your body. Might feel like vibration. Might feel like pressure, might feel like warmth or tingling. Just observing it. And taking the next couple of moments just to start to bring movement into your body. Take all the time you need to come and sit back up again. So I say, all last week or so I started thinking about this idea of non-negotiables after this conversation with Addison. Once you sit back up, bring the soles of the feet together, knees out to the side. We're going to do one called butterfly. Access inner groin, hips, hamstrings mildly. Nice little pressure on the lower back, which will feel really nice after an extreme kind of front stretch and deep opening to the front side to kind of counter that with rounding forward. So you just start to lean in. You don't have to go for head to feet. You're just going for leaning in until you start to feel a tug happening in the legs or the inner thighs, maybe pressure in the back, and just stopping at that first place of resistance and honoring your body by pausing here and breathing. And eventually it'll start to take you in a little deeper and deeper with each passing breath. So I was thinking about non-negotiables, these things in our life like brushing hair and going to bed that are just not up for debate. They're just things that occur. I was thinking about other ones that I had in my life. I was thinking about caffeine, non-negotiable, right? Every day there must be tea, maybe coffee for you. And now these things help to provide us with a sense of security. And ultimately, when we show up onto our yoga mat and we take the time to slow down and carve out time for ourselves, things bubble up. And there are things that bubble up that need to be let go of. It's one of the best parts. There are things that bubble up that solidify some really felt sense of self that we hold on to. But ultimately what starts to happen is in the bringing on and the letting go of what we need and what doesn't serve us, we start to come face to face with what matters most to us. And so I bet we could all benefit from maybe finding these areas in our life that matter to us, things that matter, people that matter, beliefs that matter. And now having non-negotiables can actually be a really empowering way to protect those things that matter to you. And continuing to let your body soften here in butterfly. A couple more deep breaths, maybe allowing this idea of non-negotiables, things that matter and how you want to preserve their presence in your life. Maybe thinking about some things that might be non-negotiable for you. A couple more deep breaths here in butterfly. Taking your time to slowly roll yourself back up. Might feel nice to lean back into the hands just to open back up again through the front side, and any movement of the legs that you feel like doing, take your time and do those things. And then when you feel ready, you'll take your legs nice and wide. We'll do what's called dragonfly, nice wide straddle. This will deeply access hamstrings, inner hips for sure. Taking some time to adjust if you need to. That blanket that you were using for the first shape can be nice if you need to sit on it. Also, if you have any tension that's really strong already in the backs of the legs, you could roll the blanket up and keep that roll shape that you had from before and just slide it under the knees. That might feel nice to alleviate some of that immediate discomfort in the body. Legs are totally soft and passive. They might even roll out to the sides for some of us, depending on how our leg bones fit into our hips. Then when you feel ready, you're going down the middle, and you go as deep as you go. There's no rule in Yin Yoga that says you have to be flat out on the floor to be in the pose. It's the opposite. You're looking for not an aesthetic, you're looking for the right amount of pressure in the legs, stretchy sensation in the inner hip, the right amount of all these sensations of Yin Yoga for you. So you'll find a depth that feels the best, and you'll hang out there for a little bit while we breathe in this one. And the things that we start to uncover from our yoga practice that matter to us. It's a sense of who we are that we are uncovering. A deeper sense of what we believe in on a deep level, kind of this idea of like core values for us as a being. And then also the sense of who we are and what we believe in ultimately leading us to where we want to go in our life. And identifying that takes courage. Way more courage than standing on your head or balancing on your arms. And so what you are uncovering, the who you are, residing in again, this authentic, beautiful you, is sacred, and you should do some things in your life that align with who you are and what you believe in, and protect those things. And protecting what matters most to you gives you the freedom to walk around with this big, wide open heart without fear of getting hurt. Because you'll have some things in place that are just non-negotiable, they're not up for debate. Keep breathing and letting things soften here and drag and fly. Keep observing the breath. Whenever the mind wanders, make a choice not to follow it too much. Make a choice to come back and feel the breath moving from the inside out. The body will feel different from the last time you observed it a few short thoughts ago. And slowly, when you feel ready, you'll take your time and walk yourself back up. Again, it might feel nice to lean back. That might be an urge that you have. You can follow that. If there are any other urges that come up in your body, always follow and listen to those things. We'll stay sitting just as we are. Bring our legs out in front. We'll go from inner hips to outer hips, getting ourselves nice and lubricated, 360 degrees. Take your right leg and stack it on top of your left one. Your right knee will bend, so your knees are kind of close to each other. Remember, you have this blanket that you're using so that if something's uncomfortable, you have the ability to kind of cushion it. We're looking for strong sensation, mostly in our outer hips for most of us. If there's anything in the knee, just change where you have your foot positioned. If you've got strong sensation already upright, you can stay here with your left leg extended. This is half shoelace, by the way. If things aren't quite really drawing your attention, you need a little more, you'll bend the left heel back towards your tush. Now both knees are kind of stacked. Again, if there's something like a high-flying knee, there's nothing wrong with you. You're built exactly perfect. You might just have a different rotation of your leg bone that makes that knee sit up higher. So again, you can cushion it. That might be super nice. If sensation is strong, stay upright. Start to lean in until you get just the right amount of pressure to your outer hip, the right amount of tug, like your body is lovingly being pulled apart, which it is. We need this mild traction and stress in these layers of connective tissue to get them to open. It's the way that we've learned over the years through the study of Yin Yoga that this is what the connective tissues need, this passive exercise essentially. This is what hydrates them, helps to strengthen and lengthen them a little bit too. So we're targeting more specifically the ligaments that are holding together right now our hips, holding together leg bones and bones in the hips. Also targeting tendons, which are another form of tissue that's holding your muscles onto your bones. So we're going way beneath the surface inside our body, which is why it feels as intense as it does sometimes in poses like this one. And it's these sensations, much like the breath, that help to keep us anchored to right here, right now, to what we are going through. And oddly enough, it's that inward directed attention that helps to slow everything down and provide the clarity that we seek. I know forever it seems like, and it probably is for most of us, been a way of existing, that we have to take on more to get it all done. We have to move at a faster pace. We have to think faster, right? And that's what's been creating this kind of sense of always tumbling through your life into the next thing. And this gift of a Yin Yoga practice is helping to slow all of that down. By placing us in the seat of ourselves, this present moment, how we feel, so that we can tend to it, respond to it with more tenderness, instead of tumbling through into the next thing. And it's in this space that we find a more richness to our human experience. And there are things that you will inevitably uncover that you should never sacrifice. Your heart, for one. And so maybe over the course of the next couple of days after you do this practice, you start thinking about areas or arenas in your life where you could add some non-negotiables to. Another thing you should never sacrifice is your family. And that's a big one for me that I'm uncovering through the past year or so needs to be the single most important thing that I tend to. Over my own desires to make it onto a yoga mat, or my own desires to do things or go places, that family always is what you fall back to as being number one. Take a breath in and a breath out. Take your time to come up. Maybe lean back again. Any movement that you need as you slowly bring your legs back out to straight for a second, you'll feel a rush of increased circulation. That's blood flow and energy that you feel rushing down your legs. It's improving, unkinking all the stuck spots in the connective tissue, sets the whole body free. And that's what you're feeling, that rush of freedom. When you feel ready, we'll go get the other side. You'll keep your right leg straight now, bend your left one on top. Again, you've got half shoelace, which is the bottom leg straight. You can go for full shoelace, just figuring out where you'd like to be. It's okay if this side is different from what you just did on the other side. Maybe this side you want to do half shoelace because it feels better and the sensation is strong enough that you can stay present. And then you'll fold forward when you need to, or go in as deep as it feels good to you. And then we'll be here for a little bit. I'll watch the time for you. So you can close the eyes and just observe the breath. Try to unclench in the hips. The jaw is a big one, right? Try to soften there. So a big non-negotiable for me is a particular day of the week that I hold sacred for snuggle time and reconnection time with my little one. Because teaching yoga, I run all over this town and we're zipping to and from school to class and back and forth, and we're eating dinner in our cars lots of times. And so family is a value, a core value that matters most to me. And so I've established a non-negotiable to protect that and keep that sacred. And that is that Wednesdays, they're hangout day. They are a day off We stay in the house when I get the kiddo off the bus, and we don't leave. We stay put in our home. And we play games, we snuggle, we're low-key, we take a bath. It's just a really precious evening. And no matter what happens, what comes along, it's, "I'm sorry, I can't," is always my answer. I'm not available. When teachers need help and they need me to sub for them, or when a friend wants to go out, "I'm sorry, I can't, not on Wednesday." It's a non-negotiable. Because I value this reconnection time with my little one. Before I know it, she'll be 15, and all of these Wednesdays together for Hangout Day will have added up in the grand scheme of our connection and our family values. And so it's important to tend to the things that matter most to you, to protect them. And maybe non-negotiables are a tool that will help you to realign who you are with what you believe in and what matters to you. I'll leave you being quiet now, a couple more moments. Keep breathing, enjoying the deep, juicy release of shoelace. You're going to go nice and slow and start to walk yourself back up. Bring the legs out, stretch them, move them in any way. I think it'll be nice to end our sweet little practice today with a twist. So you'll take your time and eventually lie down on your back. Draw your knees into your chest, give them a nice squeeze. Your arms will go out like a T-shape or a cactus or any Vogue option that feels good. Shoulders and chest. Then you'll take your knees and drop them over to the right side, creating this nice little twisty shape in the body, knees to the right. And then the head goes wherever feels good. The arms go, honestly, wherever it feels good. It's the whole point of this, is to honor who we are and what feels good to us. And then spend the next couple of moments seeing if you can soften all the way through the spine, ungrip in the hips, and enjoy the sweet sensations that move through you. What non-negotiables can help you to do is to come into full integration of your life, right? All these pieces. There's who you are, there's the what you believe in part of you, there's the where you want to go in life, and there's all the things that matter that seem like they might be distractions sometimes. That's a normal way to feel, that we have these urges and desires to do certain things, but obligations to family or to work might get in the way, it might feel like sometimes. But being able to kind of identify what's at the core of who you are and what matters, and then having some life tools like non-negotiables makes all of that stuff merge together in a way that feels like full life integration. And this practice of Yin Yoga really helps us to come into that full richness of everything by carving out the time to clear everything physically, mentally, emotionally, to get to the heart of who we are and what matters. And as I love to bring to you each week, the tools that will amplify those things, the life lessons that will make all of this stuff seem worth it. A couple more deep breaths. When you feel ready, you're going to slowly bring your knees back up to center. Draw them into the chest, detour through maybe any rolls there that feel good. You can kind of massage the back a little bit by shifting side to side and rolling the knees around. Then they're going to go over to the left side, so your body's nice and flat on the floor. Your knees drop over to the left. If they need to change their orientation, that's awesome. You can do that. Arms good to go anywhere. Head turns to the direction that feels the best for your body. And then you tune back into your breath as you allow yourself to continue to untangle any last little tension in our sweet time together. Enjoying the rich way that the breath moves through the body. This is nice, deep, kind of really thick texture that it can take on. The more we tune in to how things feel, there might be a deeper sense of lightness you notice in the body. That's the way that a strengthened connection to your heart and ultimately your unconditional love, that's how it manifests energetically in the body. Will feel like lightness. So just tuning into if any of that is present. Allowing gratitude maybe to bubble up behind that sense of lightness. Grateful for being able to carve out a little bit of time to tend to yourself. It doesn't take much to kind of reset a tired body, a funky mood, a sad day, a confusing day. It doesn't take much, right? It takes just a little bit of time to pause and reconnect ultimately to you and to what matters. And that's just a priceless benefit of this practice. A couple more deep breaths. You're going to slowly take your time. Bring your knees back to center. Your next stop is Shavasana, so you can take any detours there and then spread your body out in any way that feels good. I'll leave you to rest for whatever amount of time your household is allowing you to rest for, but definitely take a couple minutes here to feel kind of the healing process and feel the way that everything is kind of aligned inside of you, and really rest in this really beautiful space of presence and awareness and openness. And maybe you start thinking a little bit about some non-negotiables for you and your life. Take some time to feel the floor beneath you, feel it rise up and support you. Feel how easily the breath is moving through your body in this moment, how good that feels. Feel the heaviness of the bones inside of you as they sink deeper down. You're going to spend as much time as you can here. It's all right if it's just a minute or two. It's awesome if it's 10. You do the best with the situation that you have, and you find a way to hold space for it. And that matters way more than anything else. So remember that the most courageous thing that you can do is to identify who you are, what you believe in, and what matters to you, and where you want to go. And those things are really precious, valuable nuggets from your practice that you uncover. And so hold on to those and protect those, cherish those. Maybe non-negotiables will help. Until I see you again, either here or in class, with so much love, namaste.